What the fuck happened to World Trigger? Hey yo, what's up, and welcome to my corner of the internet. So this is a video I've been meaning to make for such a very long time. With all that being said, like, comment, and subscribe. That would be much appreciated. And seriously, what happened to World Trigger? This was an anime that had so much potential, had an interesting power system, actually cool characters, wonderful sakuga when it came to fighting, the choreography, the ideas. Everything was there for this anime to actually be successful. And there's several reasons that I've reckoned towards why it's not where it deserves to be, even though it is ongoing. But I don't see anyone talking about it. And that may be for many different reasons that we're going to get into. But before all of that, let's talk about how great World Trigger was. World Trigger has us in a world where we are dealing with invasions from aliens. They're called neighbors in this story, and they seem to always take or kill people. It's this varying degree depending on which instance, and we follow a border agent named Mikumu, which I'm butchering all these names. I am so sorry. But our story kicks off when we finally meet Yuma, a humanoid neighbor who is a great introduction to the power system. It was actually really interesting how quickly you got into the deep, well thought out intricacies of World Trigger, and it came from its ability to give you fight scenes that were very instructional. Now, at times, World Trigger can be incredibly filled with wordy explanations that have to come, and oftentimes that did not bother you because the fight scenes would go on and be just as cool. Each character had its ability to be inventive, intriguing, and you actually saw the skill that was brought to the table through much of what was important in this anime, which was a skill. World Trigger had real fights with real solutions, and there was absolutely consequences. I will never not applaud World Trigger for coming up with an exciting power system that takes from its predecessors but adds on and has its own identity within that. There is one part of the World Trigger power system that was so interesting and fun that it was actually great, and it solves one of the biggest problems with anime is Deus Ex Machinas, and the author created black triggers, which comes about from the sacrifice of another and helps shape the personality of the trigger and helps be a new tool for others to use and fight back. So when neighbors or the humans fight against each other, they literally have to not win so convincingly, or they have to do it in a way that beats past this level of despair that can allow the creation of a black trigger that can overturn an entire situation. And it's an incredible thing to see interplay with how the story is written and how operations have to be quick, painless, and oftentimes a blitzkrieg, because if you don't do it correctly, you create your possible downfall. And this happens multiple times throughout the story. What World Trigger did, along with its genius writing and power system, was it had a slew of different characters that actually made you excited for the story. There is too many to freaking name. Unfortunately, you're just about to see how this goes. Obviously, I'm in love with Jin. That's just the obvious one that everyone is pointed towards and enjoys. I think he is a character that stole the show. Unfortunately, I kind of hate how useless our main character is. It's kind of a static thing to deal with such a weak character when the story is so much interesting when it's a part of other characters' points of view. But our main character has a great moment that is actually integral to the story. So Let's just leave him alone for now. World Trigger is filled with so many instances of growing tension, the need for power, and good storytelling that oftentimes gets a little annoying simply because it is stuck on this idea of getting ready, being ready, and missed opportunities and stuff like that. It just all falls apart as the story goes on. World Trigger suffers from several issues, but some of the most blaring with its storytelling and storytelling alone is that it can be too entirely wordy and it is too connected to the idea of working and intermingling all these different characters. The author also had health issues because being a mangaka sounds like the job from hell without some of the same attention to detail. Even some of the best mangakas to ever exist have struggled with the demands of being a mangaka, and that's very much so a part of this story is how difficult it is to be a publicized mangaka. World Trigger had this moment, and I think it came around the 200 mark or so in the manga's little bit of time where it became heavy with text. There was walls of text between various different characters, changing of perspectives sporadically, and these little moments where it didn't feel like we were going to war after this big reveal that added a little bit more nuance to the story. It feels like the story suffered from not really wanting to move forward because it was so much more difficult on the mangaka's ability to draw all of this and also keep up with the heavy demands of writing this incredible large scaling story that was, I thought in my mind, heading towards its conclusion, but now is stuck in this weird purgatory of like military games that has been losing me for the last forever. I haven't read World Trigger in a long time, and I still think about it here and there because it was one of those stories I was excited to see, and on the sites where I read my manga, I used to see it, and now when I do see it, I'll peek in and be like, God, that's a lot of text, and there's still no real progress in the story. What made World Trigger great in the beginning was its ability to follow a new idea that's reinvented some of the old tropes, and its incredible sakuga fights, its worthwhile pitching of drama along with combat was actually worthwhile, and being able to illustrate war this way is a feat in of itself. World Trigger in the beginning was a world-class anime with so many cool moments, and I miss it. I hope it is able to get to the finish line and we actually give it the praise and it gets more seasons of anime, because it really did reinvent a lot of cool things, and the story was fun. It was challenging, and it also kept the ethos of a character being the weakest and being able to perform and win against those that are way more talented than him. I'll never not root for anime like that. World Trigger had characters with moments that were worthwhile and surprises, and there was sacrifice. There was a lot of great things that World Trigger did that I still think about and love when a story is able to actually capitalize and illustrate to me so successfully. Whatever happened to World Trigger is a thought I'm going to think about, because if, say for instance, this story never gets to its finish line, I'm going to be sad about that. So let me know down in the comments, how do you feel? Do you still think about World Trigger? Have you even seen World Trigger? Am I alone in this? I can't be. World Trigger cannot be still getting serialized and like people not still be paying some sort of attention to it. So thank you so much for watching my video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Get down in the comments. Show me your support for World Trigger. Tell me how much you hate it, or tell me how you are slogging through this text-filled manga at the moment. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not doing that. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Take care and be well.